Guys, yes, the 107 and the 108 are two of the best picks you can get in the first round of fantasy football drafts. Now, we released a video yesterday on the 105, the 106, and spoiler alert, go turn it on. But I do have JSN and St. Brown in the 105 and the 106, with the 107 being Christian McCaffrey and the 108 being Jonathan Taylor, okay? So I am taking JSN, St. Brown over these two running backs. We'll talk a little bit about why, and then we will jump in, okay, to the strategy here. The 107, the 108, we got the mock draft ready to go. We're locked in, okay? So first of all, I want to talk a little bit about the age cliff for running backs. Now, Christian McCaffrey over 30 years old, Jonathan Taylor going to be 28, I believe. Let me just double check here. Okay, now Jonathan Taylor's going 107, and yes, he's 27.6 years old. McCaffrey, I believe, is over 30. Yes, 30.2 years old. So when we look at the lead back age cliff here, okay, the cliff is 28 to 30. In those years, you are seriously beginning to decline based on data, okay? Typical peak is 23 years old, 24 years old, all right? But really, when you are 29, 28 through 30, you are beginning to decline. So Jonathan Taylor, maybe not quite there yet, but McCaffrey arguably past it, okay? And there's just a little bit of risk, especially when you look at, let me just take a look, their career logs here. So for Christian McCaffrey, I mean, there's a lot of things. So let's talk about McCaffrey first. Number one, let's look at the 2 seasons he's finished RB1 overall here. You had 2023, the following season, RB 69. Very nice. 2019, RB1, the following season, RB 54. A total of 7 games played in those next 2 seasons. That's one thing. Number two, okay, McCaffrey led the position in touches last year. Historically, guys, every time a running back leads the position in touches, the following season, very, very high rate. I'm talking like only 3 of the last 16 RBs who have led the position in touches have finished top 12 the following season. We just saw it with Barkley. He finished RB 13, and that was like a good one, okay? So if you lead the position in touches the following year, you typically have a down year. It's a historical trend, and I do believe in it, okay? It's not like some voodoo magic number. It's like you got a lot of work, you're probably going to have a down year, and that's just how it goes, okay? So there's that as well. And you have the age concerns, right? And he's missing some practice due to tightness already in his calf or whatever it is. If it's not his calf, forgive me. But that's a little concerning, okay? Now, with that being said, he is literally the greatest PPR running back of all time. It's not even close. He's better than Falk, better than Holmes, better than LT, 100%, okay? So if he plays 17 games, his draft price should be 101. So the injury is, it sounds weird because he's going, 5th overall sometimes, but the injury risk really is baked in. I mean, if we just look at his career here, guys, I mean, this is a sick joke in PPR. 22.5 fantasy points per game across 112 games. We will probably never see anything like this again. The RB1 overall since 2017, no other RB is over 20 fantasy points per game. He's the greatest PPR running back of all time. PPR is the distinction there. As for Taylor, right, I think it's a bit of a recency bias pick. He went insane last year. That's awesome. But if we look at the years before that, 2022, only 11 games played. 2023, only 10 games played. 2024, only 14 games played. Now, these were bad offensive environments. I understand that. But last year was absolutely cooking when Daniel Jones was healthy. As soon as Daniel Jones was not healthy, again, the offensive environment kind of got him here weeks 14 on, right? I believe it was actually, hold on. Let's just do 13 on, 13 through 17. This is without Daniel Jones, 14.8 fantasy points per game, still RB11, okay? So pretty decent, but again, only one game here inside your top 12 running backs for Taylor in that span without Daniel Jones. So that is a bit of risk. For example, I believe James Cook, okay, Saquon Barkley, these 2 running backs, as you guys know, are in the same tier for me as McCaffrey and Taylor. So I'm not drafting them too much. But if you draft them, what you are doing is setting your team up to win your league easily with this strategy, because if they come through and this man plays like the RB he was for the first 10, 12 weeks of last season with Daniel Jones, who is fully healthy right now, fully, right? 90%. And this man right here plays 17 games, and you build this roster that we are about to build. You are making a choice, number one, and it's not necessarily a bad choice. It just isn't for everybody. Okay. Like for me, I prefer JSN. I prefer Amon-Ra St. Brown. I love these RBs in round 2 and round 3. And that's how I rock at these positions. But CMC, Taylor, you can do it. So let's do it. Okay. Let's see how this goes. Let me zoom out here so you guys can see the entire board, 1 through 12. Now, I believe we're drafting this one from the 107. Let's start it up. I hope one of these guys falls to us. It'd be kind of annoying if they didn't. Let's see here. We might have to just hit a little restart if not. Okay, and of course, neither of them fall to us. Yeah, so here's what we're going to do. Draft now, and you can actually do this on Dynasty, which is really cool. I want to go into the room 107, and I'm just going to auto-select, a little bit of Jonathan Taylor in this draft. Some of the coolest loading screens you'll see on any website, by the way, on Dynasty. Now, I'll go ahead and auto-select a Jonathan Taylor, whose ADP is 8th overall, by the way, and McCaffrey's is 6th. So, typically at the 7-8, you're either not getting McCaffrey, he's going top 4, or you're like, he's going at like 9th because nobody wants him. Okay, so Taylor, we auto-selected him right there, and let's start this draft up. Okay, now for this strategy, guys, I always say this. I said it last year with McCaffrey, and I'm going to include Taylor in this this category as well. You have to draft like these players are already out or missing time because of the risk with them. Okay, and maybe I'm wrong, right? But I really do believe Taylor does have this risk. Okay, I talked a little bit about this in the intro, but in round 1, Taylor McCaffrey with Daniel Jones healthy last year. Taylor was RB2, McCaffrey was RB1. Okay, leaders in high value touches, the red zone plus 2-minute touches. Okay, last season, he had McCaffrey at 120. Nobody else was over 100, but Taylor, 97. Okay, so this is why these guys are so sought after in drafts for you RB freaks out there, which I am one of them. And I do enjoy drafting them with this specific strategy. You really have to do specific stuff. Now, in round 2, you have to draft, okay, as if you're like not going to have them. So it's RB every single time. Luckily, these running backs in round 2 are absolute freaking studs. Monsters, okay? So here we go. Let's look at the player pool. Take a look at the RBs. I mean, you're talking stud RB1s in round 2. Saquon Barkley has fallen to us here. If you can start your draft, Taylor McCaffrey plus Barkley, you do it every single time because I personally have them in the same tier with James Cook, okay? That's almost like we just got 2 first-round picks there. Barkley falls to us. We start with Taylor Barkley here out of the 107. Let's move along now to round 3. Now, in round 3 and 4, it's nice and easy. We need wide receivers. You have a lot of high-end wide receiver 2s here. Dare I say low-end wide receiver 1s. And then you have your wide receiver 2s with very good ceiling. Doubling up on wide receiver here is a very, very nice thing to do. A very good pick. All right, so let's take a look at who's available. We'll scroll through the board a little bit here. Egbuka's here. I just made him my guy. Now it's coming out. There's a little bit of risk. He might miss week 1. Let's assume right now he's going to be active for week 1. Okay. He's got 3.5 weeks to heal up on this toe. So I'm going to go ahead and take Egbuka. I have him in wide receiver 13. It's the closest thing we can get to a wide receiver 1 on the team. McMillan was available. Higgins, guys like that. I'm cool with them in the 3rd round. I really start to come around on a guy like T. Higgins because he's projected for top 5 at the position in wide receiver touchdowns. He has a great quarterback in a great offense. And at the wide receiver position, rather than chasing these advanced metrics and things like that, I want good offenses, good quarterbacks. I'm officially in on Jameson Williams, for example, for a lot of the same reasons I'm in on T. Higgins. I just want good offenses, good quarterbacks, okay? Like I prefer Higgins well over McMillan because I don't want to watch Bryce Young on my TV. I don't. And that's a shame because McMillan is way better than T. Higgins in terms of actually being a receiver. And if you gave him Joe Burrow, he'd be going right up here, okay, next to St. Brown and Lamb. That's the truth. But round 4, again, some great options. Ladd McConkey, Garrett Wilson, Zay Flowers. Based on what I just said, who am I going to pick? Good offense, good QB. Correct, viewer. It's Ladd McConkey. So we start off through 4 rounds. Okay. Taylor Barkley, that's an insane start. Egbuka, McConkey. Very happy with this. Very happy with this draft. Let's take a look now at rounds 5 and 6. Okay. I am consistently drafting a tight end pretty early in drafts. I think there's a huge drop off. And even if that means it's Fannin, in the 6th or 7th, I'm fine with that. I am. So through the first 6 picks, we want 3 wide receivers and 1 tight end. So with this pick at this quote unquote turn, even though it's not, it's in the middle of the draft, round 5 and 6, wide receiver and tight end. Okay. If that's not your thing, I'd recommend another RB. Okay. Really just insulate the risk of JT or Saquon. So let's take a look at wide receiver and we'll take a look at tight end. At wide receiver, Rome's there, Marvin's there. Okay. So I have, and Brian Thomas, DK Metcalf, I have Rome considerably higher. Let's take a look at tight end. It's looking like the pick. Laporta, Kraft, Fannin. Okay. I have Laporta considerably higher. I am going to go Laporta here because this drop off, Kraft would be a great pick, but now it's coming out. He might miss some time or not be fully healthy until halfway through the season. So I'm most likely going to go Laporta here for my 3rd wide receiver, even though I do value Rome higher. It is my flex. So like a Brian Thomas or someone like that, a Christian Watson will work just fine. So we will go ahead and grab Sam Laporta here. Where are you, Sam? Okay. Welcome to the squad. We'll flip back over to wide receiver now and bring in my opinion, yet another wide receiver 2 for our wide receiver 3 spot on this team. Wide receivers are very, very deep. Round 6, round 7, it's the position you want to be taking. Okay. So Sutton's there, Pittman's there, Watson goes. Very unfortunate. We do have Quentin Johnston on the board, who I love. However, we have Ladd on our team. Okay. Interesting. Metcalf, yeah, could be a good pick. Sutton, I'm not really in on. Pittman's there. Pierce, not really. Maybe Jacoby Myers is the play here. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and draft Jacoby Myers. I just want any piece of this Jaguars offense I can get. Jacoby in the flex, very happy with that. Okay. Now, Kraft and Fannin were there. So hypothetically, we could have gone Rome, right? Had Rome in the flex and then drafted Kraft or Fannin. Although I prefer a good offense, a good QB, and I just prefer Sam Laporta over these guys. I really do. Before his injury last year, there was a lot to like there. And I think it comes right back, to be honest with you. Okay. We are in round 7 now. RB heavy. Why? Well, we have 2 RBs. They are studs. Okay. But it's time to mix in more of them. It's a great range for these RB3s with legitimate upside. Okay. We also need to keep an eye on QB and find the value for QB. All right. So let's take a look at QB real quick and compare it to RBs and who we could be taking. So Hurts is here. That feels like a value. So is Jaden Daniels. Then, okay. Yeah. So Hurts or Daniels is a very interesting value. Okay. Let's take a look at RB. Who's here? Harvey, Dobbins, Corum, Mason. Again, some good picks. I think the likes of Jordan Mason are going to come back to us. And honestly, guys, I want to select Jalen Hurts. If we head over to Dynasty and we look at the projections board and we pull up the Vegas implied fantasy point rankings here, Jalen Hurts is the 3rd highest QB according to his Vegas rankings, like his lines on these sports books, which is very interesting to me. 3rd best player overall. So yeah, I'm going to be taking Jalen Hurts here against the recency bias that he is, a bit lower or whatever. Give me Hurts. Absolutely love that pick. And now we are just basically going to spam RBs. We only have 2 of them. They are 2 top 12, top 10, top 8. For me, top 6 RBs. So now we just add depth. That is what we do. So Dobbins is there. Get on the team. Yeah, you're going to take the first carry for the Broncos here behind the best offensive line in the league. You're going to be right on my team, J.K. Dobbins, okay? Let's keep moving here down the RB list and see who we can grab. Yeah, Bill Krosky Merritt, Jordan Mason. I prefer Mason. Again, lead rusher for the Vikings. These round 8, round 9, round 10 running backs, round 7 running backs are really good. Okay, unless your name is Chuba Hubbard, I'm probably drafting you and Tony Pollard. I'm not really interested in Pollard. Jordan Mason, the pick is rejected. Interesting. Dynatize, let's fix that. Okay. Pick is rejected. The player is back in the pool. Okay, hold on. Potential bit of lag here, fellas. A little bit of lag. Let's go to Jordan Mason and find him. There you are. Get on the team. Is it yelling at me? Making for great audio for the podcast listeners. Okay, cool. It accepted it. All right, cool. So we'll probably auto draft out of here. Guys, I'm posting today on Twitter a thread of late round RBs, 4 guys who can kind of be the next Javonte. Jordan Mason, when you start to look at it, I mean, we're talking about things like strength of schedule. They have the number 1 easiest strength of schedule in the playoffs. Week 6 through 17, they're top 3. KOC offense, Kyler Murray, Justin Jefferson. He's going to be getting the rushing touchdowns. I really like Jordan Mason. Now, Dynasty gives us a B on this draft. Respectfully disagree. Okay. Now, we ended up with Hurts, Saquon. I'm cool with it. You know, maybe if you want to take Daniels there to avoid the same team, cool. But I mean, every time these guys get inside the 5-yard line, you're getting a touchdown essentially. So here's what we did. JT in 1, Saquon in 2. Okay. You insulate JT in this risk instantly. All right. Egbuka, McConkey as our wide receivers. Jacoby Myers in the flex. I'm a big fan of this. Again, good offense, good QB, PPR monster. I don't care that he's the wide receiver 3. He's actually not. He's going to see like 7-8 targets a game at least. Sam Laporta at tight end. And then because we only have 2 starting RBs in the lineup here, our flex is a wide receiver. You insulate with the RBs. You get a Dobbins, you get a Mason, and then the rest were kind of auto-picked. So guys, that's going to do it for the video today. Hope that helps. Hope you enjoyed. Again, this strategy is online on Twitter at Joe Rico. Guys, thank you. Peace.